Becoming Dragon.
Becoming Dragon.
Yeah.
These actually look the most interesting to me because they look like all abstract.
I met this lady who made this deck. She's got a retreat somewhere in Costa Rica or Mexico or somewhere.
Do we need the book? Can we?
Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Let's just make the
put it
book
there.
go away.
She was in Austin, Texas.
Phails at philosophy.
And she sells these decks, and I bought one from her. She also guides people through a psychedelic journey.
Mm-hmm.
And so I talked to her about guiding me through a psychedelic journey. It was too expensive, so I did not do that.
Did I ever talk to you about the since we're becoming dragon, the childhood moment when I realized that dragons didn't exist?
No.
It's so vivid. It's like it was elementary school. It was like second or third grade. And I remember just like I was after school, hanging out on the playground, waiting for my mom to pick me up or something like that. And just like sitting on a jungle gym. There were no kids around. It was a little overcast.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there thinking.
You came up with that in your brain. You're like, dragons don't exist.
No, I was sitting there thinking.
It wasn't like a science teacher that told you?
I think I was thinking about some cartoon or some show or some book I read where someone had like a little, it was probably more like third or fourth grade because I was beginning to read fantasy and I was reading Raymond Feist's Magician Apprentice.
Okay.
Like one of the first fantasy novels I read. And there's a wizard with like a little pseudo dragon, like a little kind of cute dragon familiar companion.
Okay.
And I think there was like a cartoon and I just really wanted a little pet dragon.
You wanted the dragons to be real and for you to come
and I wanted to ride dragons and I just thought dragons were the coolest thing. So I knew they weren't real.
You did?
Yeah. I mean, I knew they weren't real at that point. But there was this.
How did you know? You were only.
I mean, I knew in as much as my parents were telling me, and I was.
Oh, they were saying these aren't real.
Yeah, I mean, like I was second or third
with
grade.
Animals, like, how do we know which animals are real or not?
No,
like, I'm never gonna see.
I was in a culture where it's like these are fantasy, right? So
yeah.
But it hit me like the reality that I was never going to ever
ride a dragon
or have a pet dragon, and I just was so sad.
Did you cry?
I didn't cry. I was just disappointed. I wanted a more magical universe than I think I had.
Hand me the box.
You're gonna use it a box? What's up with the box?
I'm just gonna show people the deck.
Oh, that's good.
It's a human being. Her name is Chris Beasley.
Yeah.
This is edition X of Becoming Dragon. Awaken the dragon, it says. The dragon represents a fully awake, alive, and unlocked being. This being takes its fears, will, and drive of sexuality as kindling for creative fire. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure I need all that. I'm a fire sign already, so
kind of went.
Yeah, I usually have to cool myself more than heat myself up.
Yeah, she signed one of them.
All right, I pulled a card.
Okay, let me pull one too. We'll both pull one, and then that will give us our discourse. I'm gonna cut it once, trusting your shuffle. Okay, I got one.
What are I assume yours has two words, kind of.
Yeah, it's kind of a binary.
They're like polarities.
It's kind of a binary.
There's a dot.
And I got the one that she signed.
Oh, wow.
She put an extra one in here that she signed. This one. But it's an extra one because I got the one that
belonging and avoiding.
I got belonging and avoiding.
So they're almost like opposites. Are they supposed to be opposites?
I mean, let's look at some other ones.
Because
you got dogma and blank. You got ancient and impatient. You got exhaustion and rest. You got transcend and comparison, fear and courage. Sometimes they're binaries, voice and choked. Yeah, it seems like that's
somewhat, but that's some of them
dry and water.
Like the binary is also interesting. It's an interesting polarity.
Yeah, it's not chaos and creation, which is like your yin yang. Ebb and flow and rigid. So yeah. Okay, you got anger and despair. What's that mean to you?
I mean, to some extent, I find the two are deeply linked.
Yeah.
Like, I do think sometimes we use anger as a way out of despair, right? When we're feeling frustrated, when we're feeling overwhelmed, when we're feeling like we've lost all power, we try to like draw on this reserve of violence.
Give me the number. I think that's true.
And that leads us to anger. There's a dot.
How many dots is it? One dot. That's the first one, I think. Yeah. I read that book by Terrence Real it's called, I don't want to talk about it. It's up there. I don't want to talk about it. About male depression, covert male depression. And I learned a lot. And I also read books on emotions. And it seemed like for men, and this might be the same for women too, but for men, sadness was the prevalent, overwhelming emotion. And the thing that our ego does to kind of be with that is anger, is like force. Because expressing the sadness is too vulnerable. It's too scary. And maybe culturally, we don't nurture that in kids.
Well, and especially in boys.
Yeah.
No. And I definitely, it's funny because like I don't, there's a number of things as a man in my 50s that I'm realizing about myself that are rooted in my childhood, right? And I think the temptation for a lot of us is to try to make that a story about these people or my parents or, you know, like, and it's not. It's about a broader culture that didn't hold me as a young boy in the way I think it should have. And the individual actors aren't to blame. Right?
I definitely agree with that. I think going past your parents or your family origin, your caregivers, to a cultural soup that everybody's in.
But that's its own kind of like, that's so big. How do you address that?
I mean, it kind of allows you to let it go.
Yeah, I think part of it is like, it's not your job to fix it.
Yeah.
It's your job to be there to help do the work to fix it when the opportunity is there because people are coming together to do that.
Yeah. To change over time.
Right.
And that's what maturation is. That's what growing and learning is. It's saying like, hey, I'm not actually angry. I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
I'm sad that something didn't happen that I wanted to happen. Or I'm sad that I feel rejection. Or I'm sad that, you know, another thing could be, anger could be a response to fear, probably. I'm scared, so I'm going to present. I remember getting into a fight when I was in college with this guy in a restaurant. We worked in a restaurant. He worked in the kitchen. I worked in the front. And it got really heated. And I remember presenting myself as really fierce and big and just real big aggression and being scared. Like I didn't know if it didn't work, if doing this to the mountain lion, you know, all those big movements you do to mountain lions to get them to go away. If that didn't work, like I was getting eaten by that mountain lion, right? The mountain lion, it's a trick that we play on the mountain lion to pretend to be bigger than them. Because the mountain lion has fierce claws, you know, talons. I don't know if those are called talons. They got jaws and all that stuff. They could eat us. And we present an illusion of fierceness. And I remember doing that.
Right. Well, it's interesting. We think of it that way. But I remember listening to an interview with a biologist who studies bears. And he was talking about like the getting big, the kind of like all that for bears. And what he said was like, look, we have this idea that these wild animals and these predators are out to get us. And they're very conservative because they don't want to get into a conflict with something even half as big as them, because injury is almost as bad as death if you're in the wild.
Right.
So even if they walk away from that encounter the winner, if you do some damage to them, they're fucked going into the weekend.
Right. They don't go to the ER.
Right.
They've got to let time pass and perhaps not hunt or not. Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, like, yeah, but I think part of it is that we get ourselves into a space of fear where we don't think there's a way out except to confront, except through violence, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a threat of violence or violence. Like, and I can't think of anger as not tied to violence, and maybe that's not right, but that seems to be what anger is. It's that point at which,
well, you're giving someone the idea that violence could occur.
right, and you're getting yourself worked up for violence, whether that's verbal violence or...
Is there a healthy way to express anger?
I don't know. I think sometimes we get into this trap where we're like, we shouldn't criticize our emotions. They are real. And like, anger there are moments we have to do that.
And it has a
Right.
place
Right.
in society
Exactly.
and in relating.
But I don't think anger has the place, like authentic anger. I think we can do performative anger, and that's healthy, right? Like when you're like, rah,
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're like
like
playing a video
psychodrama.
game
Yeah,
or something. Like, yeah, I think that can be done in a healthy way because we are creatures of violence, right? We're not going to just decide that as human beings we're not creatures of violence.
I don't know that many creatures aren't. It's not even framed as
Right.
violence,
Right.
Right, outside of the human context. It's just that is the world,
Right, exactly. And so, but we're also creatures that try to be more than that,
to rise above.
right? But we don't do that by just deciding we're not angry, or else that's interesting because I think of this like, it's like, is anger what you get out of despair, or is despair what you get when the anger has nowhere to go? And it seems like both need a space to move.
Yeah.
I mean, again, that's why that's part of like why I like D&D, right? Like,
Because you get a place to
'cause
play
it's
with
like-
those themes,
right?
in
Like
a healthy way.
It's like murder hobo like craziness where you're like fighting dragons and
Yeah.
and it's a way to express that part of what it is to be the animal self of the human, and
I like that.
and do it in a safe environment where it's really about having fun with each other, and there's a joy to that.
Maybe this is the argument for violent video games.
I've always felt like it was. I mean, and it's not that, like, I think you have to be careful with that, right? It is like you can inhabit those spaces in a way that just then feeds your own violent nature.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be intentional about this as a release and as about a way of finding joy.
Yeah.
Like,
Craig Tennant, the shadow worker that I interviewed, he had a pretty cool quote about anger. Well, he said, like, if you have problems with anger, it's going to come out sideways in your life if you don't address it, if you don't, like, really look at your anger. And so he said, be angry on purpose and find ways to be skillful and purposeful with how you express your frustration with people. That's one thing he said. The other thing he said was, if you have a dog that bites, you don't teach it not to bite. You train it to bite on command, and you never issue the command, which I thought was cool.
yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting,
He's talking to discipline.
right. And part of it is like identifying when you have those things, and I mean, I don't like, it's not the best language, but those things that we could think of as toxins about who you are, right?
Yeah.
What do you do with those parts of yourself? Like, they're truly part of who you are.
You have to accept them and love them.
You have to accept them and love them, and you got to find a place for them. But you got to find a place for them that they no longer toxify the rest of the system.
Right.
I like in like Tibetan Buddhism, the notion of like Dharma protectors, where you take that wrathful energy and you use it to protect your work, right? And but those also, like, again, it's like it's tricky because then you can just, you're like, this is my Dharma protector, so fuck you, I'm mad, and just be a jerk.
I got
You got-
avoiding and belonging, which is kind of a binary. It is a binary. You
Yeah.
avoid or you belong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. How does that one
What does that
land
mean
for
to
me?
you? Yeah.
I guess I don't think of the binary. I think it'd be a little different. For me, it'd be like included or excluded. It's kind of adjacent to that.
Kind of.
Belonging and avoiding is like one of them. I'm thinking of it's like it's not my choice. I always want to belong. I only avoid out of some. Well, I guess in my older age, I'm learning to avoid more, and I think that's intelligence, discernment of saying like, "Hey, this isn't for me, so I'm gonna opt out of something." But historically, I've wanted everybody to be my friend, regardless of their character, or even through prior to any evaluation of their character or whether or not I wanted to be influenced by them. I just wanted them to be my friend, and I wanted to be in every group. Regardless of thinking about what's that, it could be bank robbers, it could be, and it'd be like, I just want to be included in this group. So I think that's how I'm making sense of this. The older I've gotten, the more I think avoiding is important.
Interesting. Do you think there's any part of you that when you're experiencing being excluded moves to avoidance to protect yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. When I was younger,
Yeah.
you it's like this remedy to rejection. Oh, I actually didn't want that person, or I didn't want to be a part of that thing. And then you amplify, or not you, I amplify the negative traits that before didn't exist. But I've got great mental gymnastics. I can find negatives. I can find things, which would have been great in a balanced pro-con discussion about it, as opposed to a remedy to rejection.
Yeah. No, yeah.
Yeah.
I like these book cards.
You do? All right. Next deck.
It's an interesting device to do those two and really look at the oracle, the insight as a play between the sort of set factors.
Thank you, Chris Beasley,
Yeah.
for making this deck.